All right, so I just got here. I'm gonna show up in this backyard. It is in Latham, New York, and it's a fairly big property. They got a lot of perennials and gardens and stuff around here, is from what I'm told. And you know what? We're just gonna go check out and see what this koi pond really looks like and see how we can help these people out. So here it is. This is gonna be the koi pond. So we have to figure out a plan that we can actually fix this up. And it looks like there's a lot of different perennials and stuff in here that we're gonna have to work around. The plan we came up with, we redrew it. We kind of figured out this area a little bit more. And you know what? We're gonna make this pond bigger. Not only that, but I'm gonna show you here in a minute that right now the pond is elevated. Well, I have a lot of issues with why that is a problem and why you don't get the most out of your pond. Come on, let's go over here and check that out. This pond is elevated, I'd say about 18 inches. The problem with that is the patio behind me is already at a lower level than the pond. So how are you supposed to see the pond? How are you supposed to see in and see the fish? How are you gonna get that serenity? Well, you know what? Our plan is that we're gonna come in here, we're gonna take and transplant all these plants right through here. We're gonna actually make this an 11 by 18 pond. We're gonna put a really nice waterfall that's gonna kind of come from over in this section and it's gonna meander down and through. So that means that we gotta dismantle this whole thing. Now remember, it took 3 other companies looking at this that they couldn't figure out how to fix it. Well, you know what? I know how to fix this. We're gonna take this thing completely apart. We're gonna build them a brand new Decker's Pondscapes pond, and it's gonna be awesome. And you know what? Their koi are gonna be super happy. So everything is ripped out, the plants are transplanted, the perennials are all put in containers and saved aside, and you know what? You just have to keep those plants watered, because if you don't, they're not gonna make it through that transplant process, right? And especially with this heat, you know, we're into July, so the guys did a great job of balling all those up, putting them in containers, putting them in the shade until we're ready to get them back in the ground. So right now, we're at the stage where everything's cleared out. We're gonna set our grades. It's very important to figure out where your grades are, because your water level is gonna be like 3 inches below grade. When we mentioned before when we first got here, the pond was kind of elevated and you couldn't see in it. So that's why we wanna determine our grade right now, and that's what we're gonna do. So we use a laser level because, you know, once we set that up, that's our benchmark, right? And right over here, Jason has the story pole is what we call it, and the reason it's called a story pole is because it's telling the story of where our grade's going to be, our water level's going to be, you know, where we're going to set our rock, all that good stuff. So right now down in here, this is where we want to set our grade off of. So from that point, our water level will be 3 inches below. See, originally this was elevated and you couldn't really see in the edge of the pond from the patio behind me. So now that the guys get this all cleaned out, look how cool that is. We got a clean slate. So of course, every time we're digging something, we run into either power or irrigation or something else. The cool part about this job is we were able to dig up the conduit and just bend it over there, because now our skimmer is going to go over here. So the power was way up there. Now it's more conducive to have this right here local to the skimmer. Even though our pumps do have like a 20 to 25 foot lead on there, it's nice to have your outlet close. Now we'll be able to put the low voltage lights hook up right into there. Your pump will go into there, and the convenience of having it next to the skimmer is just the way it really should be. We're going to start digging this pond right now, set our elevations, and we're going to determine where our waterfall height is going to be up in here, because we're going to have all this extra soil. So we started the excavation. We are going to do 2 15-inch shelves because we're going to go to a 30-inch depth, but the important thing is that we got to allow for gravel, so we're actually going to go to 33 inches. And generally what we do is we have one of our story poles is marked for grade, and then we can kind of change that to water level once we're set with the grade. And the other one that we have here, we're going to use that for depth, right? So each shelf, we set the first shelf for 15 inches. The second one we actually had set for 33. The unique part about what we're doing here is being that there's this natural elevation, when we dig this out, we're going to have to put some boulder walls in here also on both sides. What I like about that over here though is that we're going to be able to incorporate those steps that are existing right into some boulder work and then be able to carve out the stream. Yeah, it's a little bit more challenging sometimes to dig in a situation like this, but the waterfall in the stream is going to look that much better with that natural elevation. Well, we ran out of good rock for our waterfalls. When I say good rock, I mean there's specific things we're looking for when we're going to build a waterfall, but you know what? I know where there's some. Let's go get it. All right, so we showed up over to our Latham store, and during the winter we bought all this rock, and there are a lot of great rocks in here for waterfalls, so that's why we wanted to come over and hand pick them, so then that way we can get it to turn out exactly the way we want. All right, so now that we got the pond is pretty well set, we actually incorporated this log because now the fun part comes. We're going to be doing the waterfall. We got some of the bank cut. We incorporated the log because right in between here, she had all those perennials that we transplanted. We're going to put some back in there. Plus, it's going to create a nice buffer for these steps. We took the third step out and decided to move it back so it'll be more interactive. So when you walk up here, you know, you're not directly going to fall off into the pond, and you kind of got a little bit of buffer, but we're going to be able to plant all those perennials through there. I mean, this log will probably take, geez, probably 12 years to rot. By then it's going to be great plant food. All the roots will be kind of taken in, and it works really well with all the natural looking waterfall that we're going to build up in this upper section. All right, so we're at that point right now where we're building a waterfall, and you know what? The way we want this thing to look, that we're going to end up having to seam this liner so we can get a little bit of pooling water behind this waterfall. So you know what that means? We got to go find some seam tape. So it is day 3 and we are wrapping up for the day. We will be back first thing in the morning to finish this waterfall up, and we should have water running tomorrow afternoon. Normally this is a 3-day project, but you know what? It was Jason and I for just 2 days. I think we did pretty well today. Austin came and helped us, and we had Nick here too. So there was 4 of us, and we had a good day. So let me show you where we're at right now. So we get this whole pond is all rocked in. We ended up moving this staircase back because there was 3 stairs right close to each other. We put this log in here, which is going to give it a different dimension, and we tied in with some other boulders. The cool part about that is we want everything to be super interactive, and the way it was just kind of like a stairs to nowhere. So the whole pond is rocked in, skimmer's in, we're all ready to finish up the waterfall. We also have the first waterfall drop in, which is right in that section. I know it's kind of hard to tell where things are at with no water in there. That's the other thing. Tomorrow we'll be able to put in some water lilies, water, and some aquatic plants in the back over in here tomorrow. We're going to carve this out further, and we're going to create 2 more drops. So that'll really look a little bit more substantial than the falls that it is there now. And coming from up on top here, where we're walking up, there is actually a sitting area over here on this side, and that is why we want to take and put another waterfall back over in here, so that way one of the waterfalls is facing towards that other sitting area. Then it's going to drop down in, pool up, drop again, in behind the wear stones that we have here now, and then back into the pond. So right now Austin is putting in a bib liner. Basically what a bib liner is we're going to have a deep pool, and we had to set some rocks back beyond this set of falls right here. We put an extra piece of streamliner, pond liner, whatever you might want to call it. He traced it out, got it all set, and he put a bead of foam all the way around underneath the edge, and then again over the top, like he's doing over here right now. And that'll help create a better watertight seal, even though we did foam the rocks down below further. All right, we're gonna cover the biofalls now with smaller gradations of rock and gravel, maybe some plants and moss, and then we're gonna make this whole plastic top go away. We are getting there. Right now we are starting to button up some of these upper falls up here. Just check out the boulder work. Got a lot of bigger boulders in here flanking those waterfall drops, which makes it really cool. Part of the interaction is coming up these stairs as I'm walking through. See, we have a drop there. It's kind of like 75% facing a house. But as you come up, look changes. Where the guys are working right now over into here in this section is that waterfall is going to be facing over in this sitting area up into here. So we want to have different views. It's very important that we have different views on this. All right, so here we are a couple days later. The water's cleared up. It's almost there. It just needs to clear a tad bit more. But you know what? We finished this project. And if you remember, they had to rebuild this thing 3 times before we came. They lost fish over the winter and everything else. But you know what? We built them a brand new pond that they'll be able to winter their fish over safely. And you know what? It won't have to be rebuilt again. So let's check this right out. So we put in an Aquascape 1000 skimmer right here. You see they already got a statue on there. And that is the one that comes complete with a basket. It's super simple, so when you get debris in there, you can pull that stuff right out. We got some aquatic plants in here. I see they put a few feeder fish in the very bottom. And check out, you can see the water quality. The sun is hitting it a little weird, so it's kind of making it look a little bit cloudier than it is. But check out this finished waterfall right here. Waterfalls are always my favorite part. Look at that. Twist and turn, comes up on top. And then also, if you remember in the beginning, we were talking about moving the stairs back, and here it is. We've actually pushed the 3rd step back a little farther, which just lends itself for a better path. Comes up onto here. Makes it super interactive. And the part I like about that is we got a whole nother set of falls up here on the top that you can't see from the house, but you can definitely see from this other upper sitting area that you can see from over here. So as we transition up this path, when you come around, and here we are with a whole nother set of falls. All right, everybody, that's a wrap on this project. We're on to the next one, which we'll be also doing a vlog on that. And if you like this sort of thing, please like, subscribe, share, comment, do whatever it is that makes you happy. Because you know what makes me happy? Is to see everyone on here watching us create lifestyles in people's backyard. Yes, we are creating the Aquascape lifestyle. Follow along, like, subscribe, and you know what? Enjoy your families.